So here are a few definitions of teaching. Okay, before starting the class, I just want to tell you the thing that what is teaching, just know a basic idea about teaching. See, if I am teaching you something, I have just I have taught you addition, okay? And in general life, when there is a need to add things, you are not able to do that, okay? It means you haven't learned it properly, so you are not able to do that thing. So it means that you didn't learn about the in addition. So there is no teaching without learning. If I am teaching something and you are not learning it, so that is not teaching. Okay, just remember this every time. There is no teaching without learning. Clear? And when we use the things teaching or when we start teaching, there are certain objects, the objective in our mind, in the mind of the teacher, certain goals in the mind of the teacher that he or she have to achieve as a learning outcome or teaching outcome, you can say. Okay, so when there teaching is happening, when there is a teaching, there must be learning. There is no teaching without learning. Now we will look into the definition. According to Gage, teaching is personal relationship between the teacher and the taught, causing behavior modification. So, if the teaching and learning is happening, so there must be some behavior modification of the people, of the learner. The behavior of the learner will be changed in a positive way, or you can say there is something a change in the behavior with respect to the teaching. And what is aptitude? Aptitude is a natural ability to do something, anything. We can use aptitude in after the like what mathematical reasoning aptitude or numerical aptitude. Okay, so aptitude is the ability to do something, and when we just add the two words teaching aptitude, so teaching aptitude is the natural ability to teach. Okay, so that is why in the paper of the UGC NET they test the teaching ability of the student, because after clearing this examination, after clearing this UGC NET examination, all you have to do is to teach someone. So that is why there is a unit related to the teaching ability. Now, what is the concept of teaching? Teaching is a communication between two or more people who influence each other by ideas and learn something in the process of interaction. So in teaching, there is always two or more people. In one person, there is no teaching. Okay, there is only learning. That is only by self. So in teaching, there are always two or more persons who influence each other by ideas. You are maybe I am influencing by your ideas, you are by mine. Okay, and we learn each other. We both learn each other. I am learning something with you guys. You are learning something with me. Okay, if the learning thing is not happening, I have told you earlier, there is no teaching. So in teaching, we learn something in the process of interaction, because there are more than two persons, so there is always an interaction in the process of teaching. Teaching is to fill in the mind of learners by information and knowledge of facts for future use. Okay, here are what information you are gaining or you are getting. You are going to use that information in your exam or in any other way. Okay, so teaching is to fill in the mind of learner by information and knowledge of facts for future use. Teaching is a process in which learner, teacher, curriculum, and other variables are organized in a systematic way to attain some predetermined goal. See, this thing is very important. Predetermined goal or the set of objectives. These are the keywords. While asking the question, they just use this keyword or they trick you with these keywords. So teaching is always related to the predetermined goals. And in teaching, there are teachers. These are the components of teaching. The teachers are there, learners are there, curriculum are there. There is a set syllabus that we have to learn in our class, and some other variables. The variables may be external, like the environment in which we are learning and other things. Okay. Teaching is an important part of in the process of education. Its special function is to impart knowledge, develop understanding and skill. Some definitions are there. They random ask the definitions, like the random ask that this definition is given by whom or who proposed this definition. They random ask this type of question. They just play with the keywords. In the teaching aptitude, they just play with the keywords. Okay, they just test your understanding. So H.C. Morrison gave a definition. Teaching is an intimate contact between the more mature. Teaching is an intimate contact between a more mature personality and a less mature personality. Here, by more mature personality, meaning the teacher, and less mature one is the learner. Okay. NL gauge, teaching is an interpersonal influence aimed at changing the behavior potential. Okay. Here, change in the behavior modification. These are the keywords. Just remember that. So, aimed at changing the behavior potential of another person. Jackson, teaching is a face-to-face encounter between two or more persons. Just remember this thing, okay? There are always two or more persons, one of whom intend to bring certain changes in the other participants. Okay? Here one thing is bring certain changes. So bring certain changes is what? The change in the behavior modification. The process which is learning is happening there. Okay. When behavior modification is there, it is but obvious that learning is happening there. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
Characteristics of good teaching. A desire to share your love of the subject with the student. If the teacher is not interested in the subject that he or she is teaching, he may not deliver the lecture with such enthusiasm that the student will relate to that. Okay, so it's important for the teacher to be engaged in the subject which he or she is teaching, and ability to make the material being taught stimulating and interesting. If the teacher is showing you some, like just he or she is showing you mere the facts, okay, and not any, he's not doing something for the involvement of the students in the class. So the class will be boring and the learning may not happen to the extent that it should be. Okay. The facility for engaging with the student at their level of understanding, like if the teacher is teaching something and the student is not able to relate to that, so the teacher must break down that thing to a simple form that the learner will engage with that thing. Okay, the learner will understand that thing very clearly. A capacity to explain the material plainly. This is simply like using the different ways to explain or to just narrate the thing that he or she is teaching in the class. Okay, like if I have prepared a PPT for you and I am explaining you something and you are not able to understand from the points that are written in the PPT, and if I am giving you some examples, okay, for a better understanding of the subjects, so that explains these points, point 3 and point 4. A commitment to make it absolutely clear what has to be understood at what level and why. Okay, like what the teacher is teaching, the idea would be very clear to the teacher as well as the student, that why they are learning this. Okay, and they are learning at what level. Showing concern and respect for a student. So this is an important quality, because we just if a teacher, the student must be uh, the student must be like Okay, I'm here just giving you an example for clearing this point. If if there is some differences between a teacher and a student in a class, okay, and some point the learner is at that point that he want to distract the class, okay. So in that case, the normal functioning of the class, the normal functioning of the teaching learning process will not go hand in hand. So there should also be a mutual understanding, mutual respect between the teacher and the learner in order to the efficient learning or the effective working of uh, that classroom thing. Giving the highest quality feedback on the student work. So if we are not going feedback on the things that, so we will not able to know that how the student is learning, how the learner is learning. Okay, he is learning the things or he is not learning the things. So there is always a feedback. You can term feedback as the evaluation itself, like the formative assessment are there, summative assessment are there. So assessment or evaluation is a type of the feedback that we give the student. Okay, and that feedback is useful for the learner as well as the teacher, because by that feedback we are going to know that how the student is learning with the material, okay, or how much the student is learning, he is lacking in which area needs improvement. So that is because of the feedback. A desire to learn from the student and other sources about the effect of teaching and how it can be improved. The teacher should not be rigid. Okay, the teacher should not be rigid that I am the teacher, I know everything. Okay, a teacher is also a human. So to, like, quote is there, to err is human. Okay, so we can make errors. So if the teacher should be open to accept the suggestions and the things that he or she is lacking from the learners. Okay, so the teaching and learning is an open process where the teacher is also open to learn something from the student at their level. Okay, so any doubt in this slide?
No, ma'am.
So here, this is the question. These all the questions which I have included in the slide or in the PPT are the previous year questions. Okay, just solve this question. The most desirable quality of a teacher is to make the student understand what the teacher says, cover the prescribed course, keep students relaxed while teaching, keep higher authorities informed about the class activities.
Option
Option
A.
A.
A. It's A option, ma'am. Make the students understand.
Yes. Okay, it's option A. Very good. Make the student understand what the teacher says. Okay. And this point also implies that if the student is understanding what the teacher is saying, it means that learning is happening. Okay. If the student is able to understand what is delivered in the class, it means he or she is learning. So they just remember the point that they just play with the words. Okay, they just play with the words, they manipulate the words, modify the sentence, whole sentence, modify the previous year question and bring down a new question. Now, the teaching can be defined according to 3-point view. The authoritarian, it means the teacher-centered. And in the previous class, we have discussed the teacher-centered and the student-centered. Okay, so authoritarian is teacher-centered. It means that the teacher is in the authority. Democratic means student-centered. Here the students are involved actively, and in teacher-centered or authoritarian, the learner or the student is passive learner. And the laissez-faire. Laissez-faire is subject-centered. Okay, like they are not teacher-centered, not learner-centered. We just say that it is a mixed strategy also. So in project method, there is an independence to student in project method. They can critically think about the topics given to them. They can just put new ideas related to that topic. So in the laissez-faire, there is a freedom to student. Teacher act as a guide, only as a guide. Okay, where the student need the teacher is there. Okay, otherwise no interference is there. Your learner can think independently. Really. Characteristic of a teaching. From these points, see, you all know what is written there, okay? But from these points, the question was direct in the previous question in the form of assertion and reason, or like a statement one, statement two, okay? This type of questions were there. So just remember the points here, the key points. Teaching has different level, memory level, understanding level, and reflective level. So there are 3 levels of teaching. Remember that: memory, understanding, and reflective. Teaching takes place in a dynamic environment. The environment in which the teaching is happening is always dynamic, always changing. Environment involves 3 variables. Okay. So here we have used this thing environment. Now what we can include in the environment? Student, teacher, and the intervening acts. So here the student, now you can just link this thing with this thing. Like in second point, it is written that teaching takes place in dynamic environment. Student, like in a class, number of students may differ. Okay, there is not a fixed thing that, okay, just look at for this class. So in our classroom, like if in the previous class there were 10 students, maybe today there are 7 or 8. Okay, so the number of students are changing. Okay, so student and the teacher, but the student is dependent and the teacher is independent. Learner is dependent on teacher and the teacher is independent. Teacher acts as an independent variable in the teaching environment, and the intervening acts like the teaching method that the teacher is using, like the PPTs or the projector method, or just the open book method and the learning on blackboard. So these are the intervening acts. So the teaching environment is dynamic in nature. Teaching is closely related to education, learning, instruction, and training. Teaching is essentially an intellectual activity. It's not teacher, it's teaching. Okay. Teaching is art as well as science. This was a statement I picked out from the previous year question. They have written in the statement that teaching is the art as well as science. And second statement was something maybe I have just covered in other slides. I don't remember clearly, but this was the point in our previous question. Teaching is an art as well as science. Teaching is a continuous process. Okay, it doesn't stop at any point. Teaching and learning is a continuous process. Teaching is an interactive process. See, if I come in the class and I just deliver lecture, I didn't ask for you that have you understood this or not. So the class will be very boring. Maybe you will not be willing to attend the class as well. As for teaching is an interactive process where the student can ask questions and teacher just address their queries. Okay, so these are the characteristics of teaching. There is nothing new to that. You know all these things, but there are direct questions on these points. Any doubt in this slide?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. It is well known that teaching is a purposeful activity. Purposeful activity means there are some predefined goals related with this activity. Through teaching, teacher brings a desirable change. Just see, these are all the words. They are just synonyms. Okay, purposeful activity and teaching. There is no teaching without learning. There are predetermined goals, behavior modification. These are just synonyms. Teacher brings a desirable change in the student. Both the concept, teaching and learning, are related to each other. Okay. Development of complete personality of a learner is the ultimate objective of teaching and learning process. In teaching, An interaction takes place between a teacher and a learner. These are all the things that I have discussed earlier. Okay. So this is the main aim of teaching, is to bring change in the behavior of the student. Now the level of teaching, very important. There are 3 levels of teaching: memory level of teaching, understanding level of teaching, and the reflective level of teaching. The other name for memory level of teaching is thoughtless teaching. So in this type of teaching, the learner is just learner acts as a thoughtless person. Okay. Understanding level of teaching is thoughtful teaching, and the reflective level is upper thoughtful level. Now we will just learn this in detail. Memory level of teaching. Herbert is the main proponent of this level. Remember the name. Okay. Herbert is the main proponent of this level. Memory level was given by Herbert. It is the first and thoughtless level. This level is concerned with mental ability or memory that exists in all living beings. Okay, we all are blessed with a thing that is memory. We are able to learn things. Okay, the things which are happening to us, the things which we are happening around us. Okay, we tend to remember that thing. We just don't act like that. The thing which happened today, we will just forget about that in the future. Okay, so this level is concerned with that ability that exists in all living beings. Teaching at this level is considered to be the lowest level. This is also, memory level is also known as thoughtless teaching and the lowest level of teaching. At this level, the thinking ability of a student does not play any role. The student only cram the fact, formulas, information and laws that are taught to them. Rectification is there. In memory level, there is rectification. Okay. Students only cram the fact, formulas, information that are taught to them. The role of a teacher is primary, and the memory level of teaching is teacher-centered. I have explained teacher-centered in the previous class. Okay, I think now you are understanding very well that what is the teacher-centered method, right now? Or
Yes,
I have to
ma'am.
explain it again. So the role of teacher is primary, and the student is secondary. The study material is pre-planned and organized. Okay, I am giving you an example. Just think about a situation of a class first student, class nursery student. Okay, so there the student goes to the class. Okay, and the teacher that is sitting in front of the student is teaching them A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. Okay, teacher is teaching them that. So is there any question in the student mind while learning those facts, that what is apple, what is ball, why she is teaching me this, how I am going to use all this in my future? Is there any question in the mind of the learner?
No.
No, they just believe the things that teacher are saying. If the teacher taught them that A for ball, they will learn that. They will not question that, right? They will not question anything. They just learn the fact. They just rectification of the fact is happening there. And in the next class, when the teacher is going to ask them what she taught them yesterday, they just spit out the information. Okay, they just recall the information and they reproduce that information in front of the teacher. Clear? The thinking ability of teacher does not play any role. They just learn the thing. They just learn the facts. The teacher is primary. The study material is pre-planned. Teacher is coming with see in the lowest level of teaching, or in the for the student of class nursery to first, second, third, you have seen that there are 2 copies of English, like one copy is homework, one is classwork. So one copy is submitted with the teacher, and teacher just before the class, teacher just come up with the pre-written things in the copies and distribute to the student, and they will just do that anything in that copies. Okay, so the material is pre-planned and organized. Memory level is clear. Any doubt in memory level?
No, ma'am.
Next is understanding level. Morrison is the main proponent of understanding level of teaching. ULT is, wherever you find ULT, it is understanding level of teaching. Morrison is main proponent of understanding level of teaching, and Herbert was the proponent for,
Memory level.
yes, Herbert is for memory level, Morrison is for understanding level. Understanding something means to perceive the meaning, to decode the meaning, grasp the idea, and comprehend the meaning. There are three things: to perceive the meaning, grasp the idea, and to comprehend the meaning. It is insight plus memory. Here, memory is present in understanding level as well. Okay, but here is insights. The learner is able to just decode the things. Okay, like if they are able to use the things that they are learning in the class beyond the class. Okay, if you are teaching, if the teacher is teaching addition to student in the class, okay, so and if the learner is going to any shop and there learner is using that addition thing, okay, if he is taking something from the shop and just he is adding the things like for 10 rupees for this, 40 for this, he just using that thing, okay. So here it is insights plus memory, as it goes much beyond just the memorization of fact. Remember, memorization of fact is there, but it is not just the memorization of fact. It focuses on the mastery of the subject. Okay. In understanding level, learner will start to think. Okay. Memorization of fact is there, but the thinking also present in understanding level. The teaching at the understanding level is of higher quality than the one at the memory level. You know this, I have told you earlier. The memory level is the lowest level of teaching. It is more thoughtful and useful from the viewpoint of mental abilities. In the memory level, the thinking abilities of the student were of no use. But here, we are using the thinking ability, mental abilities of the learner. At this level, the teacher explains the student about the relationship between fact and principle and teaches them how they can apply. Okay. Here the learner learn to apply the things, learner apply the facts, apply the principles that they are learning in the classroom. And this is subject centered. Memory level is
Teacher centered, and it is just rote learning.
yes. And understanding level is subject centered. So any doubt from understanding level? Now reflecting level of teaching. Hunt is the main proponent of reflective level of teaching. For memory level, it is Herbert. For understanding level, it is Morrison. And for reflective level of teaching, it is Hunt. It is also known as the introspective level of teaching. It is also means thinking deeply about something. Reflective means giving careful thought to something over a period of time. So reflective level is also known as upper thoughtful level. Here the learner is concerned himself so much that he is just applying the thing, thinking of its own things, okay, creating its own thing. Like you can find this level in the PhD student. Here the role of the teacher is very negligible, okay. Uh, they just guide you, and not every time if you have any problem, you just go to them and they will solve your problem. Maybe it is solved, maybe it is not solved, okay, but they just tell you something, okay, and you just come back from there. So in reflective level, the learner is the teacher himself, okay. He just learn about the things on its own. Reflective means giving careful thought to something over a period of time. It is considered to be highest level at which teaching is carried out and include both. See, just remember the thing that understanding level of teaching contains memory level of teaching, and reflective level of teaching contains understanding level as well as memory level. This level is highly thoughtful and useful. A student can attain this level only after going through memory level and understanding level. In order to come at reflective level, you have to cross the memory level and understanding level. Okay? It is problem-centric approach of teaching. Like in PhD, you are given a problem. You have to do your research on that topic. Okay? You just take a problem and you just try to solve that problem with your research. So it is problem-centric approach of teaching. Teaching at the reflective level enables the student to solve the real problems of life, real life problems in reflective level of teaching. At this level, the student is made to face a real problematic situation. The student, by understanding the situation, using its critical abilities, okay, understanding the situation and using the critical abilities means understanding level as well as the reflective level succeeds in solving the problem. At this level, emphasis is laid on identifying the problem, defining it, and finding a solution to it. Okay. Problem is identified, problem is explained, and the solution of the problem is fine. Problem or student centric. This is also known as problem centric or student centric. So memory level is teacher centered, understanding level is student centered, and reflective level is problem centered. Any doubt? Any doubt in
Ma'am,
reflective level?
ma'am, reflective level is problem centered and subject centered, right?
Yes.
And also student centered.
Yes. Because in reflective level, the learner is doing the things on its own. Okay.
So, ma'am, understanding level is also student centered, and reflective level also to some extent it is student centered.
Yes, to some extent.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any doubt? Assertion, reason, type of these all are previous year questions. Okay, solve this question. Assertion is the rule of the teacher in reflective level of teaching is democratic. Okay, reflective level of teaching. He does not force knowledge on the student, but develop in their talents and capabilities.
B. Option
Quickly, answer quickly.
B, ma'am. First one is
B. Yeah, B.
B.
Yes.
it is B.
Okay, everyone is saying B. I'm
ma'am.
also saying B. Okay.
Yes.
Both A and R are correct, and R is the right explanation of A. Which of the following is a sequence of different level of teaching? Very easy question now.
A.
A, ma'am.
A, ma'am.
Yes, A. Okay,
A.
good. Now, just solve this question. The emphasis in memory level of teaching is on which of the following?
Second option.
Second one, ma'am.
I have told you about the elimination method. Okay, so why are you saying second option? You just eliminate the, see, I'm just telling you one thing, you have to answer on your own. This is what? Memory level of teaching. Okay. Just solve. Everyone is saying second option, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is 2.
Ma'am, BDF is not applicable.
Yes. I just thought that it is understanding level of teaching is there. That is why I was confused. Okay. So what we can eliminate. We just memory level of thinking is the lowest level of thinking. We just eliminate the thing critical thinking. Okay. We eliminate the thing critical thinking. So if we are so this option and this option is what eliminated. Okay. Now it is A, C, E, A, C, and B. I am telling you to solve the questions when you are not knowing the answer. Okay. If you are knowing the answer, it is very good. But what you can do when you are not when you are not able to recall the things, when you are not knowing the answer, just eliminate the thing. This is the method of elimination. Like in memory level of thinking, there is no critical thinking. We just eliminated option 3 and 4. Now we left with 1 and 2. Now see, A and C is here, A and C is here. So we have to just look into option B and E. So B is what? Seeing of relationship among facts, and E is what? Mastery of correct sequencing of facts. So correct sequencing of fact is that recalling the facts or reproducing the facts. Okay. So this was present in memory level of teaching. So the correct answer is A, C, and E. Okay. If you are knowing answer, it is very good. But what to do if we are not able to get the answer? Clear? Okay. Solve this question. Which of the following is not an objective of teaching? Tell me the answer. Which of the following is not an objective of teaching? Acquisition of knowledge, development of
None of the
understanding.
above.
B.
None of the above.
Yes, none of the above. Okay, because acquisition of knowledge is there, it means that there is, I have told you one line, there is no teaching without learning. So acquisition of knowledge is there, development of understanding. Okay, this is the understanding level of teaching, development of values. This is also an objective of teaching. So the correct is none of the above. Which of the following is the first step in teaching process? Formulation of
Ma'am,
instructional objectives,
B. B.
B.
selection of content or subject matter, selection of methodology. None of the above.
B.
Ma'am, first objectives will come.
Who is telling first?
Ma'am, I
Please
said
tell me your name.
first because if first objectives will be decided or
No,
get me
I'm just
confused.
asking for your name.
Manjusha.
Manjusha, very good. Okay. Formulation of instructional objective, because I have told you some key points now, that there are always some predetermined goals. Okay, what we have to achieve before starting teaching, before selection of content, before selection of the method. The teacher should be clear in the mind that what he or she is going to achieve. Okay, so these are the formulation of instruction objectives is the first step in teaching process. Okay, like if I want to teach you something, so I just have a clear idea that what I want to achieve, what should be the outcomes of this class. So after the outcomes, I will decide these things. Okay, so a previous question was asked in the teaching process to arrange that thing in a sequence. I think I have included that question. Yeah. Okay, this is clear now. Why it is A?
How will the instructional objectives be framed even without knowing what to teach?
See, it is the curriculum itself. This is a selection of content or subject matter. It is not the subject. It is the content or subject matter is there, no? This is content or subject matter. So there is a curriculum, there is a syllabus, and first we have to set the objective that what we are going to achieve from this.
Okay.
Okay. Which one of the following factor does not contribute to learning mathematical concept?
D, ma'am.
Which of the following
C.
factors does not contribute?
The D, ma'am.
See, like if we are narrating the life experiences of the mathematicians who have given the, it is mathematicians, who has given the concept, so that will like induce a positive thing in the learners, no? And
Ma'am,
they-
C, I guess.
Yes.
Or
Teaching
mathematics
mathematics
together.
and history
But
together.
there is also mathematics teaching happening, right?
Mathematics teaching happening means?
In option number C, there's teaching of mathematics and history together.
So does it contribute anything to the learning mathematical concept? Does it enhances the learning of the learners? Teaching mathematics and history.
Probably
Like
not, but they are learning mathematics there. But in the end, the last option, they don't learn maths. They learn the experiences of the ones who design the concepts.
So it will motivate them positively, no?
Okay.
Just compare option C and option D. Don't just see this options in the light of true or false. Just compare these two options and tell me that what will contribute to the teaching of the learner.
If we consider the motivation that the children get out of knowing the experiences of the mathematicians, then option C must be the right one, because history doesn't contribute to the learning of
Yes,
math.
yes. So that is the main thing, does not contribute. Like if you are teaching mathematics, they are learning. If you are teaching mathematics and history together, is there any positive outcome? See, we have some outcomes of this point, this option. But does this contribute anything, any single thing? Teaching mathematics and history together.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so that is why it is C. Which of the following is not a feature of reflective level of teaching?
B.
B.
It's not Morrison.
So it is what?
Herbert.
Herbert.
No,
Hunt.
it's Hunt.
Hunt, ma'am, it's not Herbert, it's
Yes.
Hunt.
Herbert is for?
Memory.
Yes.
Memory.
And Morrison is for reflective level. No, sorry, understanding level.
Understanding.
And Hunt is for reflective level. Okay.
Reflective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which of the follow? Okay. So this is the question from Swayam. Which of the following is not one among the cardinal principle of education policy?
D, ma'am. None of
Yes.
these.
None of this, because access, equality, and quality was there. Okay. So any doubt from this thing, memory level and understanding level?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, please share the slide deck, ma'am.
Right.